Hello. So yeah, I have been really excited about this. Even when I first started getting back into streaming, one of the first things I wanted to do was do mini painting, and it was always something I wanted to set up at some point. Oh, I should also change the scene. Yes, camera. Hello. Here are my hands. Um, but anyway, it was something I really wanted to do, but my ooh hands. Um, my old camera was at least 10 years old, if not older, and it was not a good camera at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure it was like $20 or less. And the resolution was bad. It was very, very bad. And I wasn't going to bother trying to stream this with that. I mean, it's part of why I just haven't had a face cam as well. I don't know if I'm going to start having a face cam, but it's an option now. Anyway, thanks to a extremely generous gift from a friend, I have a good camera now. So yeah, I like I said, this is something I wanted to do since I started streaming. So let's yeah get going here. Um, I already set aside a couple minis to work on for this. I don't know how long it's going to take. I might get one done. I might get them both done. I might finish both of them with plenty of time to spare, and I have stuff I can work on if that is the case. So, um, bear with me while I figure out how to make this all work. I'm gonna do my best to keep an eye on chat, but the monitor is not immediately in my peripheral vision, so I'm gonna have to find a solution to that at some point. Um, I might be able to set it up to where I can put chat on my phone and have my phone within like sight, but I don't have that ready for today, so just gonna have to work with what I got. Other thing is I'm going to do my best to keep whatever I am painting on camera. Um, I may not notice if it. Uh, I may not notice if I like start blocking the line of sight or um. Oop, wrong way. Oh come on. Okay, there we go. I may not notice if I start blocking the line of sight to what I'm working on, or if I'm just like not in shot. Again, I will do my best to keep an eye on that, but this is my first time doing it, so we'll see how this goes. Actually, give me one moment to put my magnifying glasses on because I can't. Well, maybe I can do it without taking off the headset. We'll see. All right, I can. Cool. All right, but yeah, let's get started here. First mini I'm going to be working on is a kit bashed Space Marine Lieutenant. If anyone is playing Space Marines in 40k, highly, highly recommend the Company Heroes box if you don't mind doing some kit bashing, because just value for money, you're gonna get 5 really good bodies suited for characters. Like again, like at least one captain and like I built a captain and 3 lieutenants out of the box I got, and for like the price of 2 of them. So again, if you're playing Space Marines, really, really good value for it. If you don't, if you're not afraid of doing a little bit of like very minor kit bashing. All right. So I play Dark Angels, so that is the color scheme I'm going to be using. Um, I'm more or less doing mine lore accurate with a few sort of like alterations just in the way I do, just in the way I paint my own stuff, but for the most part, I'm going to be doing them as intended. Also, I do tend to have a little bit of trouble with this paint, so you might see me erasing and doing stuff over quite a bit. I will do my best to do that. Necrons. Yeah, Necrons are so cool. I dread the thought of painting an entire army of them, just in trying to do like glowing effects for all of them and making it look good. But I having like seen other people with like full Necron armies, they're so cool. In fact, there is a new Necron kill team coming out in the next box set, which looks really neat. It has probably the most expendable units in kill team. Of the MTG decks, they're the strongest. That kind of surprises me, but also kind of not. But yeah, the in place of the typical Necron warriors, you get these little drones that I don't know exactly how the rule is going to be worded, but it's something along the lines of whenever you don't have three of them on the board, uh, they just come back, and they also aren't counted for your opponent's objectives for killing models or like whatever. Like there is no benefit to killing them other than getting rid of them for like a turn. They it seems like such a cool way to do the Necrons. It was a fun time. Yeah. In fact, the new battlefield for the next kill team set is entirely Necron themed. So it's like a Necron tomb, which that's going to be some fun stuff to paint. Let's see if I can angle myself a little bit better here. Again, do let me know if anything about the camera angle or what have you, it could be better. The camera itself is in the best place I could find. Unfortunately, it won't reach to the other side of my desk, and I'm left-handed, so it's like I'm doing what I can to try to not block things. And also not, like, just get out of the shot. Um, Another thing I will definitely look into if I do more of these, uh, and I wanted to even have for today, is I'd love to get some music in the background just to make things not get silent whenever I'm concentrating. But I don't have anything immediately on hand that would like not have copyright issues, so I'm gonna have to find some stream-friendly music. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Scrub the green off this leg here and do it over. It came out a little bit dark. Uh, just doing the initial coat of green, usually what takes me the longest. Because like I said, I tend to have a little bit of trouble with this paint sometimes. I either thin it out and it gets so runny that it won't stay in place, or I don't thin it out and it gets very dark and streaky. So, trying to find a happy medium can sometimes be a little frustrating. But since we're only doing one Space Marine right now instead of the whole batch, I can take my time with it. Along pretty good. Um, I don't know if this is the kind of stuff anyone's interested in or not, but I guess I could go through what colors I'm using. The primer, everything is well. The primer, all my Space Marines are done in is Lead Belcher, and then I'm just doing Dark Angel's green over top of it. Um, I personally like doing it this way for Space Marines. I like having a sort of like a dyed metal color instead of just doing like a flat green over top of it, or like whatever color I am doing. I personally just like the look of that better. That being said, some of the stuff people have done out there with like the non-metallic metal, like painting styles and whatnot, are really impressive. It's just that's something that's just beyond me. And I don't know, I'm happy with the look of the way mine turn out. So that's all that matters. As long as you're happy with your own work, that's the important bit. And I very much am. I'm actually getting pretty close to being done with my Dark Angels army. And I'm ready to move on to other projects. It's definitely more than I was going to tackle tonight, but I have some knights that have been sitting around for a very long time, and because I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing with them. And I think I've more or less figured that out at this point. So, depending on how this goes, I might try to do one or two of those on stream, just for fun. But other than that, I am working on the very beginnings of a Chaos Marine army. Going to be doing some Iron Warriors, which, if you forgot about them, don't worry. Everyone else did, including Games Workshop most of the time. I guess they do get to be on the box art for all the new Horus Heresy stuff, so I guess I shouldn't say that. But boy, I wish they had more than like one miniature. But yeah, and also and since Dark Angels are my main army, I also am gonna do some Fallen or the Traitor Dark Angels because I thought that seemed like a fun way to bridge that gap. And also the like one Fallen miniature they make, Cipher, is just a really cool model. And having just briefly glanced at his stats, also seems a ton of fun to play. This arm is not wanting to cooperate. As much as I have enjoyed working on this army, I'm very much looking forward to not dealing with this green anymore. And again, this is one of those things that if I were just painting them the normal way and just doing some just flat green paint, I could just layer it until it looks good, rather than having to scrub it whenever it gets too dark. But this is how I started doing them, so this is how I'm seeing it through. One method I have done in the past to try and get in more even way to get the paint thinned out, um, is I just dipped the the entire model in water dried it off a little bit, but made sure it was still damp, and then painted it. I've had mixed success with that. I mean, it came out okay, but I had a it did create some extra work. But it's not a bad fallback if things are not going well. All the ones that look great that I've showed, well, I appreciate that very much. I am very proud of where I am at for all the longer I have been at this hobby, but it is still nice to have someone else someone other than myself have that opinion. Alright, how's this looking so far? Not too bad. To do a little bit more green around the top of the chest here. And this part of the painting process too is also just like the most messy. Like I'm just gonna get paint everywhere, and that's fine because all this is gonna get covered up with other colors anyway. So there's not too much cause to worry about being clean. Only thing to watch out for is getting excess green pulled up in places and again making it too dark. But I don't think I'm having that issue anywhere. It's maybe a little dark, but it's fine. Get in behind the backpack here. A little bit more on this side. Because this is the probably the most time consuming part of it, or at least the most time consuming like individual step, what I have started doing is whatever batch of miniatures I'm working on, I will basically just do this to all of them before I start working on any detail work. Like I will just paint all of them green first, and then I'll go one by one and start actually going through the motions of painting. Alright. I think that looks pretty good. Oh wait, there's a little bit under the shoulder here. Alright, that's good. Give it like several seconds here to dry just a little bit so I'm not smudging anything. Then I'm going to take some lead belcher, same color as what I had for the primer, and just kind of go over stuff and fix a lot of the places where I didn't want green. Actually, you know what? Some of this is already going to be dry enough. I can get started on that now. Get my smaller brush. And again, I know I'm repeating myself. It's really hard for me to tell just by the preview window I have. Let me know if there is anything I can do to try and give you a better view of what I'm doing. And I realize sometimes like that, I'm just, my hand's going to be blocking it because I'm left-handed. But I will try to keep that to a minimum. Sometimes I may not be able to do anything about it, but... And hopefully, the more I do this, because I would like to keep doing these streams, I will just get better at recognizing, or just getting better at being aware of the camera. Alright, the bolt gun's looking pretty good. Let's start cleaning up the backpack. My hands tend to shake a pretty good bit, which I'm usually fine so long as I can brace my hand while I'm doing it. The problem now being trying to do that without blocking the shot. Video quality is 100% better than the test. I figured that would be the case. I assume Discord just has some pretty tight restrictions on like webcam quality and whatnot. Yeah, I know this is going to be out of shot entirely, but nothing I can really do about that without not being able to see it. Yeah, I definitely need to get some music or something in the background here to make this a little bit more entertaining when I am not able to talk because of concentrating. Yeah, I need to find a way to get, like, maybe I need to figure out some sort of way to get the camera behind my shoulder. Because trying to have this facing towards camera and being able to see at the same time be a little tricky. Maybe just with a taller tripod. Something I could just sit on the floor rather than trying to put it on my desk. I been keeping an eye on the new Games Workshop releases, and man, I gotta say, those new Black Templar models are so cool looking. There's actually a couple I might end up trying to pick up to kit bash as some Dark Angels. The one especially looks like it would be a very good candidate for a chaplain or chaplain or justiciar. Not quite, but uh, I mean, one of the names is correct. I'm halfway there, right? All right. Okay, a lot of that cleanup's looking good. I did notice a few places that I didn't get green on. I don't have to fix that here, but for the most part, coming out pretty good. Another D. I mean, hey, feel free to. I'm more than happy to help out with that. Heck, my friends and family here locally have repeatedly told me I should try to do commissions, and I think I would have fun doing that. I don't know. I just it's hard to impartially look at my own stuff well enough to be able to tell whether or not I am good enough to do commissions. I don't know. It's like I would love to be able to do it, but I don't know that I'm quite at that level. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very, very, very proud of my like where I'm at. I just don't know if it's like commission good. I am. Well, I very much appreciate that. Uh, I it's something that I definitely would not mind doing. All right, I think we are done more or less with the lead belcher for now. Couple little spots here. Heck, if you do have another D&D mini you want me to paint, I'll do it on stream. You can even tell me right away whether or not there's any colors or anything you want changed. All right, that looks good. Let's go back to my Dark Angels green for a moment and fix some of these bare spots. I know some of this is going to be off camera. Just bear with me here. Those were the egregious ones. Is there anything else? Right there. Okay. All right. Don't know how clear that is on camera, but it's coming along pretty good.
Alright, time to do all the Under Armour bits. Where is... there it is. Alright, I tend to like to use Corvus Black for this because it's not like black black, it's a little bit lighter so that you can kind of make it like you don't lose the details in it being too dark. That's what I like to use for all the like gaps in the armor, whatnot. I mean, send them my way. I'll do the best I can. Alright. There's the backs of the legs done. I mean, like, not at once. Heck, I don't know. I was about to say, I don't know if I'd want to paint that many at once, but then what the heck am I talking about? I'm playing Warhammer. Okay, that's looking pretty good for all the black. Few places back here that I need to do. This hose on the power fist. Alright. That's the black done. Or I guess I should say that black done. I got two more I'll be using. Okay. I'm going to be using some Wraithbone for the cloth and the Imperialis on the chest, as well as any purity seals, though I don't think I put any on this one. No, looks like I didn't put any purity seals on this one. Trying to do this without getting it on the green. A little precarious, but I'm getting there. Yeah, definitely need to get some music or something for future painting streams, so that it's not just dead silence with nothing happening. Need our various pets and vehicles. I mean, yeah, I was gonna make a certain reference, but heck, the new Necron kill team basically has the Necron equivalent of Enzo as the leader for that particular team. The painting big areas with this is a lot of put on a coat, let it dry, put another coat on, let it dry, repeat until you stop seeing the base color. Which I don't mind from like a patient's perspective, but if I'm not careful, I don't like getting like visible brushstrokes in it. And that's probably more of just a personal nitpick than anything actually wrong with it. Still, I try to avoid it. So the issue with that is I guarantee you none of those models are like 3D print ready. Like the it's possible they may work, but there'd probably be a lot of brute forcing to get something salvageable out of it. Don't get me wrong. If it did work, I'd be more than happy to paint that. But I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how well those would take to being printed without modifications. I don't know enough about 3D printing to know whether or not like how much special stuff you got to do to make the model like not print full of holes or something. All right, the back side of the cloth, which I apologize, this is almost certainly not going to work for a camera perspective unless maybe if I paint from this side. Oh no, if I do this, my hand is. Yeah, no, my hand's definitely going to be in the way if I do that. Alright, again, bear with me. This part's just going to have to be off camera because I need to be able to brace my hand. And, be able to see what I'm doing. I mean, there are several Star Wars tabletops out there. I could, with enough B1s, I could theoretically kit bash Enzo. I don't know how many come in a box, but one moment here. My AC is not working so well right now. Alright. Should be running more now. Let me know if the AC is getting picked up by the mic, and I can try to adjust some volume stuff and see if I can get rid of it. Alright. Let that start drying on the back there. Get back to some things that you can actually see what I'm doing. Is uh is the distance good? I could try zooming in the camera more if needed. Like I said, I cannot tell just by my preview if it's how clear the image is. If I don't want to zoom in more than I have to because then starts getting blurry, but I mean, yeah. Fun thing about those characters, the mech in that game, the image I was using was just a orc stompa. I don't even know if I knew at the time that that's where that image came from, but yeah, the mech was just a orc vehicle. Think the zoom is fine? Okay. Easy enough to get then, yeah? Or no, I'm sorry, it's not a stompa, it's a kill a can. That's it. Stompa is a different thing. Yeah? This will hopefully be the last coat I need to put on the back side of the cloth. Alright, that's good. A few places that could use a little bit more. Alright, got a little bit messy in some places with it, but I can fix that up later. Oh, just noticed there is a small bit on the leg here. Needs this as well. Okay, I think I'm done with the Wraithbone for now. Might need to come back to it later, but for the time being, that's done. Alright. I did not fill that back up. It's fine. Work around it. Okay, so now just need a little bit of white. Go on the emblem here. This is the kind of stuff where if I was trying to freehand this, it would look absolutely awful. But in this case, since it's modeled on, I can just let the model itself do the work. Okay, that's the Dark Angel's emblem on the shoulder done. That's all I needed the weight for. Now, as long as I don't rub it off or scratch it, I'll be done with that for this one. Okay, next up, let's get some brown for the leather. Shoulder strap here. Again, I apologize if my hand's blocking any of this. Doing the best I can. shoulder strap is done. Moving on to the belt. Some of these, I'm having a hard time getting a good view of what I'm working on. So I know the camera definitely doesn't. There. Alright, that's the belt and shoulder strap done. I don't think there's anything else that needs brown on it. Moving along at a pretty good pace here, actually. Alright, well, I think it's probably time to start working on the bolt gun. So again, similar to the armor, I really like using lead belcher as the base, and then doing some contrast paint over top of it to keep that metallic look. So I played through Hypnospace Outlaw a little while back, and I'm pretty sure that soundtrack has been stuck in my head for almost a month now. It's very, very good. It's not the kind of game I would stream just because it's like entirely reading, but I am very glad that I did play it, even if it means I'm cursed to have all the music from it constantly looping in my head. Ah, whoop, sorry, bumped the mic. Okay, that's the red done for the bolt gun. Now I need just a little bit of black. Again, same deal, using contrast paint. Try to get this side the best I can. Alright, that's most of the bolt gun done. Okay, I'm going to take a little break here from the Space Marine and start doing some of the details on the base. The gray I usually use for pavements here. Oh, that's runny. Why is it so runny? Oh, right, because I just put water in it. Because it was very dried out. Let's try to get a better. Here. That's better. Okay, give that a moment to dry so I can put another coat on. Okay, that little chunk of pavement looks good. It's a little bit light, but it'll get better once I do the wash. Okay, and now there's a mound of dirt here. Wouldn't even bother with the mound of dirt, but it's easier to paint this first before I do all the stuff piled on top of it. Okay. That's finished. is a slightly different off-white for the skulls. Every Warhammer Mini needs skulls on it. Okay, it's the one skull finished. Alright, there's both of them done. Get a little bit of my Wraithbone here and go over this one more time. I noticed a couple patches where it looked like it was on thick enough. There, that looks good. Alright, now time for the other thing every Warhammer model has on it other than skulls, is probably a little bit of gold paint somewhere. Maybe not all, but boy do I use a lot of it. Okay, start out with the bit on the knee here. Okay, knee pad looks good. Let's get a little bit more here. Get these before I forget about it. A little pile of shell casings on the around. That's why I wanted to get that dirt pile done. There. Oh, I guess that is purity seal on this box, isn't it? Alright, gonna have to fix that after I do the gold. It's probably better to do it in this order anyway. Okay, that's looking good. Get the sword on the forehead of the helmet here. I smudged that a little bit, but I can always fix it. Okay. With that, now I think the bolt gun is finished. Just about done with all the gold as well. Get these little tiny skulls on the knuckles of the power fist. Okay. That's looking decent. Now for the last bit of gold, the skull on the backpack. Actually, need to get a little bit. Oops. Gonna have to fix that. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought, but I do still have to fix it. Okay. Unless I missed something, that's it for the gold. Oh, yep. Nope. I did just. I just. Yeah. Just saw that I missed something. Little bit of trim at the bottom of the cloth. And again, sorry I'm repeating myself here, but camera angle still good and everything. Doing my best to try and be in shot, but I can't look at the preview and paint at the same time. Actually, I also see something else. I wanted to do the for the shoulder strap in gold as well. Okay. Coming along at a decent pace here. We're what, like an hour into stream? A little bit more, about an hour and a half? It's honestly not too bad. Okay, let's get a little bit of silver here for the chain. I guess they're more beads than a chain, but still, silver works good for them either way. Still good on your end? Alright, cool. I was just a little worried that, like, as I paint, I just start shifting back into my normal position out of habit and get more and more off camera without realizing. So if it's still good, then I'm not doing that. Okay. There's that little bit done. What is still not finished on this yet? Not much, actually. We're about done with this one. Okay. So, oops, left that paint bottle open for a while. Whoopsie. Now, get a little bit of red to do buttons on the arm of the armor here. Looks good. And the eyes on the helmet. Okay. Okay, one last major step to do. The one I usually always forget to do. Gonna take a little bit of gray contrast paint. Not a ton, just a little bit. And do the exhaust vents here on the backpack. Just make them look a little bit grimier. Oops. Not used to having the headset on. Keep bumping the mic. Maybe for these streams I should look at having a microphone that is not on my head. But that is a much smaller priority that I can solve in the future. Okay. I'm sure that detail is going to go basically unnoticed by everybody, but it's just something I started doing with all my Space Marines, so I keep doing it for consistency's sake. Right, and I need to do the purity seal on the box hanging from his waist. Almost forgot that. So it is wrapping around the sides here. And to get the wax seal itself, which I use a little bit of a darker red for. Pretty good. Now, actual last step. I'm going to go back to my lead belcher. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And I'm going to do just a little bit of cleanup. Just try to fix all the bits where I had a little bit of color go where I didn't want it. There. To get a little bit more on my brush here. Also, get all of the little, like, bolts or rivets or whatever you want to call them that are sticking out all over the place. Again, a detail that most people are not even going to bother looking at, but I do it anyway. So it's a bunch on the backpack. Oh, and I see a little bit of green that I missed. That's better. Didn't quite need to get that much on there, but it's fine. To clean up on the bolt gun. And I see a little spot I need to hit on the back of the helmet here. Okay. Now that I got all that, I can take the green again and hit all of those places that I just did, and it should more or less look pretty even. Get these little spots on this here. On the helmet. Might not look so great on the knee there, but that's my own fault for getting more paint on it than I meant to. Let's try to smooth it out a little bit. That's good. Also, I noticed some places on the foot here that I just didn't get green paint to begin with, so let's fix that. Oops. Well, now I gotta fix the cloth. This is a lot of usually what finishing a model is. It's going back to fix any little mistakes that then sometimes cause some new mistakes. You fix those, and you repeat until all the mistakes are gone. Which sometimes is done on the first pass, and other times it's not. Actually, it's good I'm going over this again anyway, since it looks like I didn't really get this side very well. Or maybe even at all. Alright, I just gotta fix that little spot of gold on the cloth, and I think I'm happy to call this done, or at least done with the first step, or the first that I gotta do. Okay, got a little too much gold on it. This is what I'm talking about, where you fix a mistake, and it causes a new mistake. And then you just gotta hope that fixing that mistake doesn't make another new mistake. Because the loop can go on for quite a long time. Either until all the mistakes are gone, or you don't care anymore. Okay, I think I'm going to call this one done. At least with this bit. So, let me close my wet palette back up again. And bear with me here. I'm going to go change my paint water. Okay. Now the next step is the wash. Gotta get a healthy amount of Nuln Oil here. Liquid skill, as people love to jokingly call it. And we're just gonna give the whole mini a bath. It's effectively just very, very transparent grayish black paint. But it does a very good job of getting down into all the little creases and lines and whatnot for some very good results. And I'm sure many much more experienced painters could point out half a dozen ways in which I either shouldn't do it or not do it the way I'm doing it or what have you. But again, I am happy with the results. That's what matters. So the one thing I have learned to be aware of is when putting it on light colors, don't let it pool up too much because it will look bad. I'm going to be very deliberate how I do it on the cloth here. That looks okay. Get a little bit on the skull and the shell casings down here. Alright, and you should be able to tell almost immediately how much difference that makes in something like the markings on the chest of getting a little bit of an outline on like the different parts of the wings and whatnot. All of the power fist here. Oh, I also see a little bit that I didn't do some black on for the Under Armour. That's fine. I can do it after the wash is dry. Get the bolt gun. Shoulder strap. Make sure to get plenty on the arm. And now the backpack. If you put too much on, well, just by nature of what it is, like it's very, very transparent black paint, it will just naturally darken anything you put it on. So, you know, you don't want to put too much on or it will get very dark. And I've definitely had a few models that I put way too much on, or it pooled up in a place that I didn't notice, and left these like dark patches on it. And that happens. Again, that's where I could stand to be a little bit better at this part of the process, but sometimes I'll do the same thing I do with the green paint, and that's like water it down just a little, try to keep it from pooling or streaking. Sometimes it works great, other times not so much, but all part of the process. Okay. There's a little bit pooled up at the bottoms of the feet here. Want to just spread that out so it dries a little bit faster. Oh, and I see. Would have been great to catch this earlier, but oh well. See, there's a very tiny hair that got primered into the mini.
Is there a way for me to fix this without just gouging a hole in the paint?
Probably not, but well, now it's got a line going down it, but whatever.
I can always fix it later. Alright, and that's the wash. Alright, well, it looks like it's still pooled a little bit down by the feet, and me trying to smooth it out with the brush isn't really helping it go any faster. This seems like a very good chance for everyone to take a quick, minute, go run to the bathroom, grab a drink, whatever you need to do. And sure, I have never clicked this button before. Let's run a 1 minute ad break. And then by then, the alternative is sit here and literally watch paint dry. So let's do that. Everyone take a sec and be right back with you. All right, and we're back. Okay, so let's finish up this mini with the base. So, a bigger brush. Use the same brown that we did for the dirt pile earlier.
And we're just gonna smear it all over the top of the base. A little bit goes over the edge, that's fine. I'm gonna be painting that as well. If a little bit gets smeared on the pile there, that's fine. Trying to keep it off the boots as best I can, though. A little bit on there, but a little bit's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get here the best I can without getting paint where I don't want it. Okay. And that's step one of the base done. Okay, now I'm going to have to do this by hand without my holder, because I need to get along the edges. So, get my actually dark black paint here. And just go along the trim. Good fly. Shoot. Come back when I'm painting Death Guard. Get out of here. Trying to be very careful not to hold onto them any too tight, because I don't want to smudge any of the paint I just did. There we go. Black trim of the base done. This fly, come on. Okay, now for the last step in the base. I use a Grell Badland for my terrain paint, and my $10 plastic stick. Thank you, Citadel. That I cannot believe how much nicer it is to work with these paints with this. For what is effectively a long, flat stick of plastic. But it does do the job. So the through line I've basically come to myself and have seen from a lot of other people is Citadel tools are horribly overpriced for what they are, but darn they do work good. So they begrudgingly, I wouldn't say earn their price tag, but you stop feeling bad about it. That being said, I know many people out there usually make their own tools like this. And I did try for a while to find other solutions for spreading the texture paints around, but nothing I put together or tried really had much success. And I finally just broke down and got the stick. But you know what? I have certainly got my use out of it. This is another very tedious part, and sometimes a little tense because I don't want to get any of this paint on the model because it is still paint. It just has a weird texture to it. So if I do get it on the model, I gotta go back to the whole cleanup process again. I don't want to do that. So I'm being very, very careful. But that can be hard because it is essentially like trying to paint with peanut butter. Trying to keep that from going where you don't want it to go can be very tricky. And it wants to stick to whatever you're spreading it with more than what you're trying to put it on. Still, as I said though, a lot better than the alternative methods I've tried. Trying to get a little of this built up on the dirt pile itself. Try to make it match the ground around it. sometimes be really hard to get just a little bit. Either too much sticks to what you're using or not enough. And not enough seems like the better of the two, because then you just get more and keep repeating until you have enough on there. Problem is, if you don't have enough, sometimes it just don't spread properly. Or won't even come off of the spatula, I guess is the term in the first place. Alright. I get just a little bit more to the back of this pile here, so that it hopefully looks more or less seamless. It just looks like a pile of dirt. And there we go. Wipe the excess off of here. And this is done. That is not in shot. Can't tell how visible it is on stream, but if I move it any closer to the camera, it will be out of the light. That'll have to do. Yeah, that is the Space Marine Lieutenant all done. I do have to put a decal on the shoulder. I was debating whether or not I wanted to do that on stream. I think I would, but I would have to... Well, we'll see. We'll see if I get to the decal. I want to let the terrain, the paint I use for the dirt is going to have to dry still, and I want to let that dry before I go messing with it more to put decals on. For a point of reference, here is more what it will look like when it does dry. It's about the same, it looks a little bit, it just looks more like dirt. Again, I'm assuming this is even remotely visible on stream, but... Okay, so, well, I've got about an hour before I would normally wrap things up. What the heck? Let's start the other model I have out. Might not finish it, but that's okay. So, the second model I had put aside for the stream today was a Culexus Assassin, which I love the Assassinorum miniatures. They are so weird and seem really, really interesting to run. This hopefully won't take too awful long, but let's find out. Do I have a slightly bigger brush? You know what, let's just use this one. Alright, gonna start out with the Corvus Black like I used for the Under Armour before. And we're just gonna do the whole body. Which probably, depending on how good the colors are showing up, might not look any different at all on stream. I'm not sure. But Like I said when I was painting the Space Marine, I like this black, or any sort of like black fabric or what have you, just because it's not so dark that you lose sight of any like detail, but still looks like black. I as sort of a reference for the color scheme I'm doing for this. I mean, I'm more or less painting it as intended, but as a reference for what it should look like when I'm done, here is a Vindicare Assassin I painted previously. So for reference on like colors and base will probably be very similar. And I do have a reference image open in another tab so that if I need to double check the colors on something I can. I uh, I would definitely love to get a Calidus and an Eversor Assassin as well at some point. But I just never get around to picking up an Eversor, and the Calidus Assassin is never. I never have money. At the same, it being in stock and me having money seem to be mutually exclusive. Eventually, I will get one, but the timing has not worked out yet. I do have a Vanus model that I got, but unfortunately, the Vanus Assassins only have stats for Horus Heresy and not 40k. I would like to do something with it, like kit bash wise. I just don't know what to do with it yet. I have not been able to find any parts that seem to mesh with it well. Like I thought about just trying to make it an extra Vindicare, but I do not have the parts to make that work. Okay. That looks like I got pretty good coverage on the body. Bring up my reference image for my sake here. Just to double check a few things. Okay. Alright. Going back to the Wraithbone. Do the teeny tiny skull on the chest here. And the helmet. This ridiculous, ridiculous helmet. Brush is starting to fray a little bit. Need to get that taken care of. check my reference image for a moment here. Okay, it is the whole thing. Alright, got that done. Now it looks like I'm gonna want to start by basically taking some lead belcher over most everything else. In hindsight, this probably would have been better to prime in lead belcher, but that's fine. A little too much water. I I really wish there was more out there for the Assassinorum in 40k. The first novel I read focused on them quite a bit, and oh, the DLC for Chaos Gates added them to the game. But aside from the 4 models in 40k, it's kind of all there is. And I wish there was more, because I think they're neat. What I would really love is, like, a kill team for them. I don't know how you'd make that work, but, like, an Execution Force kill team would be, like, I would be all about that. Maybe, like, have options for all 4 of the 40k ones, and maybe even bring in the few Horus Heresy exclusive assassins as well. That would be fun. I know for a fact, once I am done with what I'm doing here, it will all have seemed very pointless, but there is a method to it that matters pretty much only. There is a reason, but I'm pretty sure it only matters to me. But again, that's fine. As long as I'm happy with how it turns out, all that matters. This would have been actually a very quick mini to paint, I believe. But I'm realizing now how much extra work I made for myself by not just priming it in Leadbelcher to start with. Again, oh well. It'll still turn out fine. Just gotta do some more work for it is all. I did a very bad job, I'm realizing, cutting the parts out when I put this together. But again, doesn't matter. It's a little frustrating, but it is what it is. How's everyone doing today? Realizing I'm kind of running out of things to keep talking about. How's everybody doing? And back. What am I working on now? I'm working on a Culexus Assassin. One of the Assassinorum miniatures, which are all very fun, very strange. I've friend of mine once Nick called them the Imperial Weirdos, which that fits. A lot of the lead belcher I'm putting on here is actually only going to be temporary. Just want the metallic starting point. Let's get some of the buckles while I'm at it. A little bit more. So going forward, I definitely want to do more painting streams. I'm really enjoying doing this. That being said, I'm probably not going to do it every week just because I don't know that I could keep it interesting for folks. I don't know, maybe it's interesting enough. Maybe just watching someone paint is already as interesting as it can be. But at the very least, I'm probably not going to do another until I figure out something that I can have on as some background noise to cover for when I either just don't got anything to say or I'm concentrating too much to say anything. But I definitely will do more at some point. Hopefully not too long. Maybe I don't know, maybe a stream would be a good excuse to well, nah, I probably won't do that. I was gonna say it'd be a good excuse to start start working on a new army, but probably better if I have an idea of what I'm doing color-wise before I stream rather than figuring it out during. Alright. That's all of that done. Let's double check my reference image again. Now, we covered up all that black with the metallic to then cover up that metallic with some black. Like I said, probably just going to look like a waste of time, but this way, I still get a little bit of a metallic shine to the black, which is what I wanted. Probably not worth all the effort that I went to do this, but I don't know. Again, don't matter. Ever end up doing bots or Helldivers themed ones? I haven't. However, um, people have been doing a lot of like Helldivers, like 3D printed miniatures, and I would not be opposed to getting some of those and trying to make a kill team out of them. I wouldn't want to do anything bigger than a kill team, but that would be a fun project to do. And as for bots, I'm not sure. I don't know what all is out there. I haven't seen a bunch of. I haven't seen a ton for like bot miniatures. I mean, I could even just do like without even like getting 3D printed miniatures. You could even just like get some Imperial Guard and paint them in Helldivers colors. Like that would also be perfectly viable. Need a Terminid kit, yeah. Well, I mean, I am planning on painting my Tyranids like Terminids. That is the plan. Will they turn out good? I don't know, but that is my plan. I because I need to when I add an army list when I make an army list in the app on my phone, I have to give the army a name. So with that idea, I jokingly called my Tyranid army Hive Fleet Meridia. Though I don't know, maybe there's a more appropriate planet now. Which
all that does bring up the fact that, oh yeah, I still have a whole box of Tyranids behind me. I haven't even put Primer on yet. And here I am talking about finishing my Dark Angels and starting a different faction. So I do need to get to that at some point as well. I uh, I guess I'm just not overly enthused about Tyr. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tyranids are cool. They are very, very fun. They're a very fun faction for 40k. I just personally am not that into Tyranids, but I also always say every faction has cool models. So, you know, I will take the excuse I have been given to paint some of the really cool Tyranids. I just have to get to them. The I think it's the Death Leaper specifically comes to mind. The one that has like basically a cloak made out of kite skin something. I don't know. It just something about its body is dragging behind it, and it basically looks like a long coat, like cloak or coat, and it's very silly, but it's really cool looking. Okay, I think that's good for the black on the helmet, which again, it started black. Why did I bother doing it that way? Shut up. All jokes aside, yeah, I definitely could have just left it black and be done with it. Doing the metal and then trying to get the like metallic black was almost certainly way more effort than it was even worth. But well, it is done now. Okay, need actually let's use a darker brown for this. The bits of the harness here. And again, uh, I just started a Chaos Marine army. Like I haven't even started painting them yet, but I've just started building a Chaos Marine army. I have quite a few unpainted knights that I need to get to. Still haven't primed my Tyranids, and yet I'm hearing the siren song of another faction. I need help. I'm I am honestly beginning to consider like just good old Imperial Guard, but basically do them like almost exclusively as like like just tanks. Just tanks, artillery, any sort of armor I can get, and just focus almost exclusively on that. That's definitely going to be a later project though. I'm not so far gone as to immediately dive headfirst into trying to make that happen. Sound like you with your backlog. Yeah, I am trying to be practical about it though. I not gonna be starting that anytime soon. But just know that I want to.
Okay, that looks good for the harness. There were a couple buckles on the harness, though, that I didn't get. So let's take care of that before I move on. Alright. Let me... Yeah, that seems right. Okay. Where did I put my gold paint? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is, all the way in the back. How did it get back there? Got lots of little details to do with this. Now, things should hopefully start taking a bit more shape for stream. And hopefully it'll start looking less like a just black silhouette. Like this is pretty well. I think the process for painting this thing is definitely going to be like almost all the work is painting the helmet. Body will take like the body took like 10 minutes. The helmet is where all of the effort needs to go. Ridiculous, ridiculous helmet. am quite happy how it's starting to look, though. It was one of those, like, for me, this has been one of those you just gotta trust the process, because wasn't overly thrilled with how it was going until I started doing the gold. Now that it's actually, like, getting some detail to it, I'm starting to feel pretty good about it. So, sometimes you just gotta trust that it will look good when you get there, even if you don't quite believe it. That was definitely a lesson I had to teach myself pretty early with this. There were many times that I would start painting something, start second guessing the colors I was using or where I was putting the colors. Basically, every part of the process, I would question myself as to whether or not it would look good. And sometimes you just don't know till you do it. And even then, like, sometimes it needs to be done before you can tell if it's going to look good. I haven't listened to any in a while, but I really need to get back to watching more videos for Warhammer. I tend to like to focus on, like, just whatever I'm painting at the time, just because it seems right. But that was when I was doing Kill Team, like, exclusively, and the faction I was painting would change like every couple weeks. Now I've been on Space Marines for like a year, maybe longer. I don't remember when I started my Dark Angels. So, in trying to keep lore stuff on task, been nothing but Space Marines. And I think I need to stop that habit and just find whatever it is I want to listen to and not try to always line it up with what faction I'm painting. Besides, I'm basically already out of knight stuff and I haven't even started my knights. I just realized I'm probably blocking the camera again. I'm really having to get in here for the little details. Which is not always going to be avoidable, but I'm trying. Not keep doing it as much as I can. This is starting to get a little sloppy. And as I finish these couple bits here, really need to do some cleanup because I'm not doing a great job of keeping the paint where I want it. Well, I will say, I appreciate everyone hanging out who is tonight. I realize I'm not probably doing the best I could be with making this entertaining to watch, but there is any entertainment coming from it. Uh, I hope it's somewhat enjoyable. I'm gonna, as I keep repeating myself, gonna try to do better with future ones. Have some music, or if not music, just something to listen to. Which I guess would be music. I don't know what else. Not really, I guess, another option there, but eh, I don't know if that'd be pleasant to listen to though. Well, I guess it would be pleasant for some, but nah, I think I'm gonna go with music. That seems like the better option. Again, the trick there is I just gotta find some stuff I can play without it creating some copyright issues. Which there's plenty out there for like royalty free stuff and like even like stuff out there for streamers. So I just gotta look into it. I just didn't get a chance to this week. But hopefully the next time I do this, it'll be a little bit less monotonous for everybody watching. Okay, there's the grenades done. Now, I need to take some of my black again and fix some of this on the helmet because I was getting very messy and not careful. I've probably, considering it is getting late and I can't, uh, I have to be up for work in the morning. I will probably not be able to finish this entire mini on stream tonight. But I would at least like to get it up to the wash being done. Which I guess is basically the mini, but I can, the base can be done later. But I am going to try to get the bulk of this finished. You know what? Maybe I wasn't as messy as I thought I was. I mean, there's a few places I definitely was, but overall, not as bad as I was expecting. Okay. A little bit of a new metallic here for these exposed wires on the eyepiece. It's not really an eyepiece, but on whatever this thing is. Not gonna pretend to know how the heck this weird helmet works. Check my reference again. Yeah, that looks good. Ah, okay. I see where I messed up. Go back to my gold just a little bit. This bit here. Okay. Now, wildly diverge here. Get some bright green for the eye lens. Do more with that after the wash. That looks good. Alright, now, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup on the body. Okay, apparently paint dried out. A little bit more. Way too much. Okay. Actually, gonna go back to my screen for a moment here. Buttons on the back. Brush was still a little too wet. That got too runny. Let's try again. That's better. Much better. Alright, and now some red. Get these other two buttons. Red. Now, get all these wires. Okay. It's looking better. Now for the part that's going to probably have the most trial and error. Oh, also, before I do that, there is a little bit more black I gotta put on. Did notice one or two places that I gotta fix. I might I might actually be a little lazy with this and just not do this where, like, in every place I should. And I think that'll be fine. Oh, missed a spot there with the gold. Gotta fix that. Just a couple spots with the gold, actually. Alright. You know, it's kind of funny. Things are kind of quiet now, but for as laid back of a thing as this is, I think this is the most active my chat has been thus far. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is. Which, it's just funny that it's during this. Of course, that could just be the fact that since I'm not actually playing anything, there's not much else to do other than chat for folks, so it's a little bit more engaging to do that, I guess, than just sit there in silence. Okay. That's looking good. Now, for the part that I've been kind of dreading. Need some very bright white. Just going to put this in certain places across the helmet. So, these little things. Technically, I should be doing this on the little connector, like right there. I ain't gonna do that. It's not really gonna be that noticeable, and most likely will just be a headache. Well, it's just not. And I'm putting a little bit of white on the eye. Then let me double check one thing here. Okay, that seems good. Now, get some specific contrast paint I like to use for these kind of effects. And we're just going to very lightly touch it to everywhere we put the white. So, little bumps on that side. On this side. Getting enough color on it. Try again. Hmm. Needs to be a little bit thicker. Try again. That's better. Now, just a little bit. Dab the eye. And this little thingy. It's good. Okay, basically on the last step here, aside from the base, going all the way back to my lead belcher here. Just gonna do a little bit of cleanup in certain places. Alright. Let's get a bunch of lead belcher now. And actually, you know what? Let's move on to a bigger brush. Yeah, this will be fine. And get this wreckage on the base. This part, I should probably switch back to the little brush, so I don't have to clean up a bunch on the feet. Okay, that looks pretty good. Go back to my light gray from earlier for some more cement, I guess. Concrete, etc. Yeah, I'm close enough to getting this done at this point. I'm just gonna see this through before I end stream. Probably not a chance this goes on clean without having to fix stuff. Yep, nope, already smeared it where I don't want it. Well, let's try to clean that up a little bit so it doesn't pool. Alright. Now, go back to my big brush for a moment. In this case, I'm gonna do top of the base before the wash. Doesn't really matter too much if the black is still poking through here. Like with the Space Marine I did, this is mostly just to give an undercoat for the texture paint. Okay. Now let's fix the bit on the metal there that I messed up. better. Much better. Okay. Now I... Oh! Don't know why my hand did that. At least it didn't fall on the floor. Now I just gotta wait for the top of the base to dry. I think... Besides that, this is more or less done. Actually, you know what? I could use a little bit more blue on the eye. It's not really that noticeable. Let's get a little bit more. Try to make that a little bit darker. Just because I can't even really see it. That's better. Also, there's a little bit I can fix on the black here. And just while we're waiting for things to dry. Smeared that a little bit, but it's okay. Looks fine anyway. My brown just for a moment. Fix this buckle on the harness. It's good. So I just noticed a spot on the body. It's a little bit of black. Okay, top of the base looks dry. I probably should have done this way earlier, but we're here now. Going to be using some astro granite for the texture here. Try and get that look of like pavement. Maybe a bit much. Let's put some of this back in. It's better. Definitely still a bit much. Alright, now that just has to dry, which again, in hindsight, should have started that process way earlier, because that could be a few minutes before it's going to be dry, and I don't really have any other part of it to do. So, you know what? Well, I'm already half an hour over when I normally end, so I think we're just going to call this done for the stream's sake. And let's get it actually in shot. There we go. I think overall that turned out pretty good. Um, so the last bit I still am going to do is once the texture paint dries, then I'll do the wash after that, so that it you know sinks into the little cracks in the ground as well, just to again help it look more like pavement. And after doing the wash on the body, I've got a little bit of paint that's transparent and a bit glassy that I'm going to put over that eye lens to help it stand out a little. But beyond that, I think this is done. And obviously I have to do the trim around the edge, but that's you don't really need that to see where it's going to end up. So, let's see about, is there anyone to raid tonight? Uh, I think we're just not going to bother with a raid. Let's, yeah, let's just call it a night here. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out. I hope this was like somewhat entertaining. I tried my best to walk through my steps of the process and hopefully made it interesting. I don't know. But yeah, I would really like to do more painting streams and again, hopefully I'll have some sort of background music or something in the future. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out and have a good night.